Hello, everyone. Welcome again to Interstellar Chats. We are here. I'm Carlene Seld. I'm here with co-host Kristen Anderson and James Spurrier. We are talking about the fascinating theory of flat Earth. So there is a lot of it's on both ends of the spectrum when we talk about flat Earth, right? There's very much, yes, it's flat, no, it's not, and there's barely anything in between. But we're going to have just a civil conversation to just kind of talk about it and see, what is this about? Is this theory? Is it all opinion? Is there truth? Is there fact? How do we know? So let's dive right in.
Okay, so let me just tell you my experience with flat Earth is that some of my family members are hardcore flat earthers to the point where talking about it at the dinner table gets close to violent.
Wow, I've never heard of such a thing.
Yeah, so I always opt out of that conversation because I just don't even go there. So I don't really know a lot about the theories, but here's my take on the whole thing. If you throw like water up in the air, it turns into a little globe. It turns into a little ball.
Well, I think you've just proved we can hang up now.
That's my theory. I don't know anything else.
Right, because the planet Earth is mostly water. So you're making an extremely valid point. If you throw water up in the air and it turns into a little droplet or a little ball of water, possibly that's the same exact thing as planet Earth, right?
I mean, that's just nature. It's just droplets. Cells.
Well, so that actually pulls us into hollow Earth because if you look at the NASA website on how planets are formed, it's done through spinning. And in the spinning process, then basically that would mean that the planet's hollow.
Now, see, I can more relate to the hollow aspect than the flat aspect.
Yeah.
Just by feeling, sensing, I can feel that. And I actually have had friends who have had communications with the beings who live in the center of the earth.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So that's
another conversation.
It is absolutely another conversation because the whole inner earth thing is fascinating, and there's absolutely evidence that there are tunnels and whole caverns, so whole cities, a whole network of transportation, a whole network of water supply, everything that is in the center of the earth, or maybe not the center, but somewhere in inner earth. So that is absolutely another conversation. But about flat earth, let's just talk about the possibility. What does it look like, right? Because I know for myself, I am of the mindset that if someone is adamant that this is their truth, they know that we are living on a flat earth, and here is why.
Yeah.
And they give me a link, and I proceed to watch 5-hour documentary on flat earth. And I'm getting a bit sucked in because there's, like James had said, there is compelling evidence to support the theory that we live on a flat earth.
I want to hear these theories. Tell me, because I always leave the conversation. So what are these?
I think one of the things that they mention is about the moon is because the moon is stationary, basically. We only see one side of the moon, whereas all other
celestial bodies,
yes, are rotating. Our moon doesn't.
Wouldn't that mean that maybe the moon is flat?
Well, actually, I'm sorry, but this kind of pulled me into another theory. So what I've heard was that the moon is actually a reflection, and that we're under a dome. and that we are flat. We're under a dome. The moon is a reflection um, of what I
Of
have.
the, of the dome?
Um, I don't know what the reflections of. That's just
So
what
that
the
reminds
theory. Yeah.
that reminds me of that movie. I don't know if you guys saw it. It's called Chicken Little.
Mm-mm.
With the
It
sky is
was,
falling.
it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes around, the sky is falling, the sky is falling.
Right.
But in this cartoon, I would say maybe it's over 5 to 10 years old.
Uh-huh.
But he literally is finding these octagon discs
Uh-huh.
that have fallen, and it's got the sky on one side and the other side is nothing. And then there's a hole in the sky where the panel has fallen off of the dome. That's in the movie, this Chicken Little it's called.
So they stole that, though, from a very, very, very ancient Indian story about the sky falling. And if you guys look it up, you can, I know they did episodes on it on a Ancient Aliens, but the sky stones. And the sky stones are these stones that have been found around the world. And they're sky blue on one side, but when they have tested them, basically the makeup of these stones is like the heating shields from our spacecrafts.
Wow.
Interesting. Okay, I'm literally looking up sky stones right now.
Mhm.
Right?
I have
And
my
so,
computer.
so in that old story, they say a hole fell from the sky, that a hole, fell out of the sky. Well, that in that story, then that means that we're under a dome, and that this is not, you know, our authentic reality.
Right. So perhaps this is a projection or a hologram or just
Well,
virtual reality.
some of the theories are is that we're actually underwater, that we're in a dome that's underwater, and that the lights that we see in the sky, the reason that the sky twinkles is because we're underwater. That was just one of
That's interesting. Okay, what about, okay, have you guys seen the show One Strange Rock?
no.
It's a short series about Earth as seen from space,
Okay.
from the astronauts who have gone up and photographed Earth
Okay.
and have the footage of the Earth rotating.
Right. If that happened.
Right.
If that happened.
Mhm.
Because now, I mean, now with AI and CGI for a long time,
Yes.
Who knows? Right.
do we even know what we're looking at anymore?
Well, the
So-
truth is we only know what we know in our lifetimes of what we've experienced, and everything else has been given to us and fed to us. And so you can't help but wonder, who is it that's giving us this information, and is there purpose behind why?
And is
Why
it
are we being
true?
fed
Is it
certain-
not true? Is it real? Is it unreal? All of these things, right? Because
Yeah.
in this crazy documentary that I was watching, and I said there was definitely, it was pulling me in because of the compelling evidence that they were presenting in it just was so in depth. Like I can only even pull out, and I watched it so long ago, like maybe 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, that I can only remember certain things. But one thing that really grabbed my attention was in the portrayal of these ancient cities where you have these amazing stone structures, castles, big buildings, but yet all of the people are dressed in almost, old timey clothes, and they're driving a horse and carriage, and all of these ancient archaic ways of living life, yet there's these buildings that could not have been built with the same tools that would have been available at that time. So what they were showing us was so much more than it being flat earth. There were so many theories weaved into this thing, this documentary, because also they showed at the bottom of some of these buildings were windows that were ground level or beneath the ground.
So that's the mud floods.
The mud floods.
And if you look that up on YouTube, you can find the mud flood videos, and they'll show, I mean, there's just cities that are underground, and you can just see it. It's crazy. Even in New York today, there's like some brownstones that you can open a door and realize that part of the building is underground.
It's earth, yes.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So, but what did that have? How does that contribute to the flat Earth theory? That I don't
exactly.
understand.
Okay. So I'm just going to throw this out there. What if so I saw this one theory, which I thought was very interesting, that the reason that there are so many sites around the world that show different astronomical alignments is that when we hit this one particular alignment, the whole universe will become illuminated with light, not just our planet, but the universe. So we'll be able to see. And when we see, what we're going to see is that we're underwater, that we're in a bubble, and that we're underwater. That's one of the theories that I've heard. Now, then I think about the Titans and the Greek gods, and all of the ranges of humanity. What would make sense is, like, so supposedly the Titans were giants; they were huge, right?
Yeah.
So then I know that these theories of like that on certain small islands, all of the animals and inhabitants grow small, right?
Small. Yeah.
Yeah. And so maybe we're on a very large planet, but we've been put under a small dome, and that's why we're small.
Huh.
Just a theory. Who knows?
It is.
Maybe we're underwater. I don't know. I know that I've had dreams.
I literally have nothing to say about it.
Yeah, I've had dreams about swimming. I'm wearing some sort of futuristic swim breathing apparatus, and I'm swimming underwater right next to a giant mammoth structure underwater.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the dolphins, speaking of underwater, right?
Advanced beings, yes.
Advanced water beings, the cetaceans, mermaids, do they exist underwater? I don't know. Maybe they're in the sky. According to that theory, they're maybe up here instead of down here. I don't know.
Or they're interdimensional.
Interdimensional. Yeah.
That basically is kind of the new premise that's out now, is that supposedly, I don't know, I've mentioned this before, and I just want to see what you guys think about it. I've heard on a couple of different YouTube shows where they're saying that aliens don't really exist, that they're just wanting us to accept the idea of aliens, so we'll be able to accept the next step is that they're not really aliens, but they're demons.
Demons?
Uh-huh. And these aren't beings that live on other planets. They're multidimensional. They don't live on a planet. They live in the in-betweens.
Well, I have my own thoughts and opinions about this because
Yeah.
I know for a fact by my own experiences and my own travels that there are definitely positive ET beings or aliens because
Sure.
I visited with them. I've been on the planet. I know that I'm a part of their family, and I do know that there absolutely was or is negative entities out there that could be perceived as demons,
Yes.
quite possibly, right? So angels and demons, I guess words are just words, labels are just labels, right? So it just
I-
depends on what we're
Yeah,
talking
What
about.
I gotta
Yeah.
throw this in there. I kind of feel like aliens, angels, demons, all kind of lumped into one thing.
Except this is the interesting part, is that they're saying that the big secret is that there's no planets. There are no planets, is what they're saying. That these are just interdimensional beings. So they're not
Yeah.
coming from another planet. They're just coming from another space. That we're
I've heard that the planets are beings.
Mhm.
I mean, sure, I know I believe that this
Earth.
planet Earth, Mother Gaia, Mother Nature, that she has a soul, that she definitely is a living being with a frequency, right? So why would they not
Yeah.
be living entities?
Yeah. Well, and if you watched One Strange Rock, and I recommend it, it's really good. It used to be on Netflix, but I don't know where you can find it now. I think it's 7 or 8 episodes, but it's really beautiful. But yeah, it shows the connectivity around the planet and how something in the desert can affect something in the rainforest that affects the oceans, that affects the rains. It's just all connected on the planet in ways that you can't tell from our vantage point. But when you pull far enough away, you see that it's connected.
That's the oneness of everything, right? Is that
Yeah.
interconnectedness.
It's a really beautiful movie, visually too.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely take a look at that.
Yeah, and I think Will Smith is the narrator.
Okay.
But talking to the astronauts is also really cool. So yeah, I wonder, like, okay, so if the astronauts, are they in on it? I don't know.
Listen.
Like, are they
Okay.
in on it or they're getting duped? Are they just in a
Say-
CGI space shuttle?
Did nobody responded to this YouTube that I had sent, and it was, I didn't send it to you, Kristen, but I sent it to our group, and it was basically saying that the Challenger explosion never happened, that
Okay.
it's all fake, and they
Oh.
literally show each one of the people old under different names, and two of the people that were on board happened to have twin brothers
Oh.
that did not have twin brothers previously.
Uh-huh.
That's interesting. And that wasn't that in Avatar, the first one where they lost the guy who worked that avatar, but he happened to have a twin brother?
Yes. Yes.
Ooh.
Right.
That was actually in Avatar, yeah.
Disclosure.
Hollywood, baby.
Sure.
Interesting. I want to
So
see
let me
yes,
ask
that.
this. What is the purpose of even throwing out a theory like flat Earth? Like why would that all of a sudden have a relevance in this day and age? Like when James, we talked about this, how back in the old days, back when Columbus was sailing the 7 seas, he always was thought, if you go to the horizon, you're going to fall off. It's flat. This is a flat Earth that we live on. But because he traveled, or he was an explorer, or maybe it was Leif Erikson, proved that the world was round because he never fell off. He just went to the other side of the Earth, right?
Right.
So that's how we supposedly know that we live on a round planet.
Yes.
Hmm.
but why this resurgence of people, groups of people saying that we live on a flat earth? Why would this come around now?
Well, I think it's also a lot of the hollow earth is happening right now too. And some of it is because people are just waking up to those ideas. And then some of it, I don't know, some of it I think could be disinformation. I saw this one YouTube, actually, I've seen probably 3 on these Bible prophecies that says that when humanity gets to the point, which is supposedly where we're at, where 99% of all that we know is false.
Oh, dang.
That something will, there will be revelation.
Aha. So
That's
much out there.
Yeah, I know. That's just
I
crazy.
feel like we're there, like,
Right,
especially
me
with
too.
AI now, you know, I know just working with social media a lot, like the stuff that people are posting, well, there's clickbait, right? Which, like you were saying before, the cover of the YouTube episode has nothing to do with the actual episode. That's the clickbait. And then once you get into that, especially now, you're not even sure if that's a real person's thoughts or ideas. It could be generated by Chat GPT or some AI situation. There was even recently that a girl on social media that wasn't actually real, and she had all these guys after her with,
Funny.
you know, just a fake AI account. It just doesn't exist.
Well, and this is also true with the past elections, with people saying there was Russian bots and all these other bots that are out there as not even real people, just accounts that are creating disinformation or creating dissension and creating friction and all these different things, because that was the point of whoever set up the account, right? So there's this brings us back to centering, right? Bringing it back to ourselves and bringing it back to using your discernment. And how does it feel within your body, right? If it doesn't feel right, if it doesn't feel true, if it doesn't feel like it's coming from a high vibration, then it is likely not true for you and does not have to be in your timeline that you are experiencing, in your truth, in your now. Right?
Yeah. And really getting that intuition and working on your internal gifts to really create your reality, because that's, I mean, otherwise you're living in somebody else's creation.
Right.
And that's not true for you. Because as James was saying, the only thing you know is what you know. So you have to get out there and know, right?
Yes.
Get out there and know.
Right. But what we know is that what we really, really know is that we don't know. That's what we really know. Yeah, we don't know.
This is
So
like
back to
those
flat earth, I just don't see the relevance of the conversation at all to daily life on the planet where we are.
right. So again, it comes down to creating your own reality, right? So if you believe in flat earth, then flat earth is real for you, right? If you don't, and you use your discernment and you take in all of the proof and the evidence that is surrounding you that feels good to you, then that's the reality you're living in. And let's just leave it at that, right? Because here's the thing, we also have pictures from outer space, that shows that it's a round planet, but who's to say that that's even real?
They've never altered anything before.
Exactly. Exactly. But then we also have information from people who are in contact with other dimensions or other ET beings who also have confirmed that yes, the planet Earth is round. But then there is also the theory, I guess, that it's not flat or round, it's more toroidal shaped, right? So it's kind of flattened, but not flat like a pancake, but
yeah, I thought it's the egg shape. Yeah.
right? Stretched out egg shape that is toroidal and has different frequencies and bandwidths and dimensions within it. So there's a lot to think about and to unpack, and what is true for you may not be true for the next person. And I think, Kristen, you hit the nail on the head by saying, if it doesn't feel good to me, I'm just going to exit the conversation.
Right. I don't think it is for everybody. You know, you'll know if it's for you or not, if it's for you to explore. And
I'm definitely getting out of the way of the knife throwing. I'm definitely leaving the room when it comes to that.
Yes, yes, we don't need to be in harm's way for sure. Okay, so with that, our dear audience, we would love your opinions, your thoughts, your theories on, or even evidence, if you feel you have it, on what flat Earth is and your experience with it. We'd love for you to put that in the comments and we will respond to it. And with that, this is Interstellar Chats with Carlene, Kristen, and James. Thank you so much for being here with us. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and share this with all your friends. Listen to us on all of the channels. We are on all the major podcasting channels. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you, and we are so grateful that you're here listening to us.
yay.
See you next time.
Bye. She got it right. She got it right.